Hello, everybody. This is Justin from Breakout Capital Ventures. It is Saturday, the 10th of January, 2026. Today, I'm going to start with Bank. And this one here, I've got a blue box reversal zone here at 9.45 down to 7.15. I think this is recently capitalized at 20p. I think it had some additional funding at 10p. But you know, whatever, we're below both of those prices now. We're at 9.25. It's been as low as 7.75. But you know, for me, I think we're going to get another wave to the upside here. So where do I think that's heading? Well, you know, obviously we need to stay above sort of 6p, I suppose. You know, I don't think it'd be too tragic if we fall down to that level. But, you know, I think that we've probably got the bottom in there at about 7.75. We're getting some nice buying at the moment. But you know, I think we're breaking a hold above 21p. That's going to bring us up to this red box zone up here at 28.6 up to 34.2. So that's potentially three and a half bags in Bank. For those who want to take the trade. It's something to do with, you know, an overdraft or something like that, but worth doing some research on that one. And as I say, it's within the blue box zone, so fingers crossed that one should go to the upside. Next I'm going to do is GELN, and these are all chart requests, so just get those in. This one here, well, this one recently capitalized at 20 pence late last year. It's got a battery technology. It's got a massive JV with an absolute monster company. You know, so where do I think that's heading? Well, you know, I want to see it hold above 18 pence, which it's done so far. Yeah, I'm surprised it's even fallen down that low. You know, as far as I know, the fundraiser was oversubscribed. So, you know, it should hold above 18p. Shouldn't fall below 20, to be honest. But it has. It is what it is. But, you know, for me, I think a break and hold above about 28 pence. And I think we're going to be off to the races with that one. And we're up to this red box zone here at 40.2 is my first point of call. 46.2 would be my second, and possibly 54 pence. So, you know, if they drop some good news on that one, I think it's off to 50p. You know, I think it'll be attacking that sort of big round number at 50p. But you know, worth doing some research on that one. As I say, recently capitalized, so there's no risk, or potentially no risk of any further capital raise in the near term. So GELN, worth popping on your watch list. RBD is my next one, and this one has had an absolutely fantastic run, hasn't it, last week? But you know, for me, that was in a blue box reversal zone down here at 0.036. You know, it's had a horrific fall, hasn't it, from the highs? But you know, where do I think that's heading? Well, it's a difficult one because you know, from that box there, I would expect three waves to the upside. So we haven't even had one. So this move is, for me, definitely not over. There's more upside in this one. You might get a bit of a pullback and then another wave to the upside. But you know, this looks like a power move to the upside. I don't think this move is definitely not over. You know, there's going to be definitely another high made in RBD, that's for sure. And my target here, well, astronomical target, but I think we're headed up to 0.34, up to 0.424. It might not go there in a straight line, or it might go in a straight line. That I have no idea, but I think that's the sensible target. So we might see, you know, a bit more upside. It might see a pullback, and then we might see, you know, a rise up into that there, or it could just go in one big straight line. So, you know, well, RBD, pop it on your watch list, see what's going on there. Next one I'm going to do is MBO, another one which has had an absolutely amazing run. I've done really well out of MBO in the past, but, you know, whatever. But, you know, it's had an absolute monster run here. Now, I think there's more upside in MBO as well. You know, it's not guaranteed. It's more of a high risk trade, but you know, but what I want to see here, well, unfortunately, there isn't enough trading data for me to give an accurate forecast. So all I can say is that if that is our low at 6p, we go on to break and hold above sort of 10 and a quarter pence, that'll bring us up to 14.1, up to 16.6, and possibly even higher than that. But you know, but what it's ever so difficult to sort of say, but I'd like to see something like 1, 2, 3, and then go up. But it's too difficult to see or make an accurate forecast. So there's one to pop on my watch list and see what's happening from there. Well done for those who took that trade. I mean, that's it's 10 bagged, doesn't it? Easy. So a lot of money swashing around in the AIM market at the moment. Next one I'm going to do is IMM, and one I haven't covered off for a while. Just get that up. Immu Pharma. Now, this one here, I've got a red box zone here at 3.88 down to 1p, but I don't think it's going to go to 1p. I'll be crazy. And historically, it hasn't actually hit my box there. So, and looking at that, this wedge here, I think that was, sort of a falling wedge with an increase in RSI. I think that's a really good sign. And for me, if we could break and hold above 17.6, hopefully that's the low in. Break above 17.6, that's going to activate this red box zone here. So first point of call 23.8 to 28.9. I think it would probably go even higher than that. It's one of those stocks that it could absolutely be a monster run from where it is at the moment. I've got 35.4 and 54p as a possible target, but it really depends what news comes out of the company. Do they sell? Do they have a massive JV? It's a really tricky one to call. So worth doing some research on that one. But as I say, just be mindful that there is that lower red box there. I don't think that's going to come into play. As I say, that was a nice setup there from that falling wedge. So it's worth doing some research on that one and seeing what that one's all about. Next one I'm going to do is ALRT Defence Holdings, which was my biggest winner of 2025. Eternally grateful for that one. I had that blue box. I mentioned that at around here about 3 pence level, didn't I? I said that, I thought that we might see that blue box come into play, which was correct. So I've done really well out of this one. But, where do I think that's headed? Well, for me, I think that there's still another leg in defence holdings. So, let's assume that is the bottom at 1.065 on this corrective move. I think the break and hold above about 4 pence and close above that should bring us up to 5.86, up to 7.35, and possibly even higher than that. So there's potentially still a couple of bags in defence holdings, but just wait and see how this sort of plays out. So break and hold above 2.3 might see us then sort of have another push up towards that prior high. So defence holdings, worth doing some research on that one. Next one I'm going to do is Avacta, and another absolutely stellar call from us. We gave that red box down to here, 27.95, and we gave that blue box target as well. So as a red box, I've changed it to blue. That's 73.8 to 86.8. I said that's where I think we're going to see some sellers, and it was absolutely spot on. So we called that from 27.95 all the way up to that box there. And somebody said I was a crap chartist. Well, there you go. As long as you're making money, it doesn't matter what you do. But for me, it's a tricky one now. I'd like to see, personally, if it could just make another run up there, make another corrective move, and then I think I think we'll be heading up, break and hold above this sort of 83 pence level. We'll see us go up, and I think we'll be attacking 100p. So I think we'll break 100p, and then we'll find a bit of resistance there. But we'll probably see trading in the sort of 107 up to 123 pence level, and that's just short term. For those who've been following me, they'll know that I've got longer term targets on that, but I'm not going to go into that today. But first things first, let's go and break that prior high and see what happens from there. Next, we're going to do is Alba, and let's get that one up. Alba Mineral Resources. For me, I had that red box there at 0.012, which was correct. We've had a good response from the bulls from there, and for me, I really want to see break and hold above this sort of 0.035 level. Should bring us up to the top of that blue box there. So I've got a red box there, so 0.0526 up to 0.0642. But really, I think top of that blue box. And once we get there, I think we've seen a bit of resistance, and then hopefully we can consolidate and go again. Next, we're going to do CTAI as a chart request. This is a really tricky one for me because this is you've got to play by the rules that are in play. So for me here, I think that this reversal zone here at 0.25 is back in play. We've sort of seen trading up to there. So what I'd like to see, really your levels here are going to be just your usual fib sort of retracement here. So we're talking 0.364, break and hold above that. You're going to be heading up to this point. 466, 0.55 and 0.63, break that, and then hopefully we can go to tap those prior highs, but see how that one plays out. Next one I'm going to do is AFC, and just get that one up. For me, it's a bit of a tricky one. This, I've got that blue box reversal zone there, which isn't a great setup, but it's fallen outside of it. But first point of call really is that gap fill at 13.55. 52, sorry. If we can break and break out of that, a lot of traders are going to be in for that gap fill, so just be mindful of that. Then break and hold above that to sort of 18 pence level is going to bring us up to 21.2, then 24.75, and hopefully 29.25. But obviously, it's going to depend what news comes out of the company. Next, we're going to do is THX. It's a really tricky one. I mean, it has absolutely boomed, hasn't it? I remember that down to sort of 10p. Well, I thought it was 8p level I got in, but it's done superbly well for those who held. I personally, what I'd want to see here is a bit more downside. I think that low there at 53.2. I think that's going to be your low, and then hopefully once you consolidate a bit more, clear out some of the stale balls, then go on to break that prior high at 77, and I think we're going to have another leg to the upside. So that was kind of indicative that gold price is going to rise again. But there we go. Kefi is my next one, and just get that up. Kefi gold. So I think if we can hold above this 1.16 level and then make another wave up, I think my first point of call there would be 2.19 up to 2.52. But I've always had that 2.92 up to 3.6. So and I don't think that this moves over by any means. That was a long-term reversal zone that we had there, sort of 5 years in the making, isn't it? So as you see by that thing, and of course, if you followed me, you would know that is where I was suggesting to load up around this level, wasn't it? So about 0.5 pence. So those who took that trade and held, which not many people do, they seem to be day traders rather than weekly traders. But sometimes you've got to hold on for these wins. It's much better what money you're going to get out of the bank. I think that obviously playing it safe, I think you might see a bit of selling at 2.19 to 2.52, but I think really we're going to be headed up to 2.9 to up to 3.6. So it really depends what news comes out of the company, but that's still bag and a half, 2 bags, isn't it? So Kefi, definitely worth doing some research. SLP is my next one, and my last one for today. And this one here, an absolutely spot on call again. 47p down to 32.3 is where I said that is going to be the low. Bang on. Can't fault me on that one. And where did I say that? I gave that target at the time. I said, break and hold above that sort of 103 pence level, which it's done. So we are in play for this red box. It should be a blue box because this trade is in play. That is where it's going to be headed, in my opinion. I think your first point of call, 142 pence, then 170, and possibly 206, maybe even higher. So, this is a bull run. So I would expect the top of that box, to be honest. So there's a bagger in SLP. And that's in play. There you go. That's me for Saturday. I shall be back hopefully next couple of days with another resource special. So tune in for that. Thanks very much. So have a great weekend.